Welcome back. Right, let's go straight over to my next guest. He's a former Brexit Party deputy leader, in fact, deputy leader of Reform UK, former Brexit Party MEP, and of course he is now the boss of the British PAC Party. A warm welcome to Ben Habib. Hi, Ben.
Good morning, Kevin. Good to see you.
Thank you for joining us. Let's talk first about a bit of a disgrace, I would suggest. The French have had the temerity to seize a British trawler vessel, a British fishing boat, apparently out there on the British Channel, allegedly fishing whelks in an area where it was not licensed so to do. The French have seized this boat and are holding it. The owner facing massive fines. British government warned, you know, this was a serious infringement of French fishing rights, European fishing rights, and so on and so forth. Well, they're very hot on this, aren't they, the French, Ben? I don't notice them being quite so vigilant on seizing migrants as they dawdle and amble across the northern French beaches on their way to waiting small boats, which are actually quite big boats, to be crammed onto them and sail across to Britain. They're not very hot on seizing migrants, but obviously very hot on seizing British fishing boats. Double standards here, isn't it?
It's complete double standards. And of course, as far as the migrants are concerned, we know that it's perfectly possible to intercept a dinghy at sea and to safely return it back to the shores from which it came, because the Belgians have been doing this for years now, and they've successfully reduced the number of launches from their shores by 92%. So the French need to take a leaf out of the Belgians' boat if they wish to be in good faith with the British government having taken hundreds of millions of pounds off us in order to stop these illegal crossings. But of course, the French aren't in good faith, are they? The French do what the French wish to do. And it seems pretty clear from what I've read that the impounding of this boat was, in fact, a retaliatory measure because a French fisherman who was bottom trawling in a marine sensitive area, in a protected area, bottom trawling, which I'm sure listeners will be aware is a deeply damaging way to fish, was bottom trawling in an area where he shouldn't have been doing it, had been charged, and I think he was fined £40,000 or something. This was the French being muscularly French, doing what they wish. And the British response to this boat being impounded is to say that there's an investigation ongoing and therefore we won't comment. Actually, this is a diplomatic incident, Kevin. It's the French authorities have taken over a British boat. Our Prime Minister should be absolutely hopping up and down with fury. Instead, he's doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ben. This is a major incident going on, unfolding before our very eyes. They've seized and impounded a British ship, a British boat.
Absolutely.
For what sounds to me like the most minor of alleged offences, fishing for whelks where they shouldn't have been. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but as you say, I suspect politics are at play here, and the British government should be standing up for our fishermen. That poor guy is facing massive fines from the EU, and I think we should save him from that, don't you?
Completely. We should make this. What is the point of being a British citizen if the British government won't stand up for you when a foreign power takes your assets? This is a moment where Starmer could actually show he cared a little bit about those of us who happen to hold a British passport, but he doesn't. He'd much rather sidle up and befriend the French. You see Starmer repeatedly putting his so-called international friends and partners over and above and to the detriment of the United Kingdom. It's absolutely wrong. It makes my stomach turn. At one level, we can dismiss it and say it's just one fishing boat that's been impounded. But at another level, it's deeply serious. We have a government that isn't prepared to stand up for British interests. That's very, very concerning. The other thing, just on a point of detail, which strikes me is that, as I'm sure viewers, listeners will be aware, and you're aware, Kevin, there are limits on the catch that French boats can take when they come into British waters. Those limits are adhered to by the French by fishing basically indiscriminately. Their nets drag up anything that they can get. And then they adhere to those catches, having killed that which they should not have caught and chucking it overboard before any possible inspection can take place.
Yeah.
And so they are habitually abusing our British waters. And again, we do nothing about it. We never actually use the right to inspect what they've got on their boats. We never impound a French boat and say, right, prove to us that the processes you've been using are consistent with the deal that we've got with your government. We don't do it.
Absolutely.
They come in, they do whatever they want. They damage our environment. They kill our fish. They take back with impunity British fish, if I can say that. And our government in response is timid to the point of dereliction of duty. Timid to the point of dereliction of duty.
The French, as you say, they sort of bottom trawl. They put these huge nets with all across the bottom, which literally destroys the marine environment. And as you say, they catch what they want, but they catch everything else as well. It is totally destructive, and that's what they're doing. And I think our government should be standing up against that. And right now, it should be standing up for this British trawler that has been seized and impounded by the French. It's an outrage. Before you go, Ben, let me ask you about this. Kosovo, we're told, is the next target to take Britain's small boat migrants. Don't laugh, take it seriously now. Keir Starmer, I mean, the underlying sort of comedy of this is a guy who threw the Rwanda scheme into the bin on day one, saying it's a gimmick, it's a gimmick. It was a £700 million gimmick. We've already spent £700 million on it, so perhaps he shouldn't have been quite so impetuous about chucking it into the bin and wasting all that money spent. But last couple of months he's been looking for foreign countries to take our migrants. Okay, the idea of Rwanda was that they would process asylum seekers and take the whole system all the way through. The idea of these new systems is after failure of their asylum applications, we take them abroad to disperse them after that. But basically, after dismissing the Rwanda scheme as a gimmick, he's now desperately looking for foreign countries to take our migrants to. So it's the scheme essentially that he chucked in the bin on day one. This guy does not know his backside from his elbow, does he?
No, I mean, I think the trap into which he's fallen is the same trap which the Conservative government fell into, which is their lack of preparedness to enforce borders basically means deportation is the only answer that they've got to the illegal crossings of the Channel. And deportation doesn't work because of the European Convention of Human Rights and the Human Rights Act in the United Kingdom. It simply doesn't work as a process to be applied across the board. And so they end up having to look at these completely convoluted, impractical, hugely expensive and unimplementable schemes. And so they're just going around their own navel. What they've got to discover is a bit more of the muscular nature that the French seem to have, and just stop these damn dinghies in the Channel and tell them to go back to bloody France, where they came from, perfectly capably, under their own decision and under their own steam. What is wrong with our government? Do they not understand a border should not be crossed? Stop people. And the argument they'll make, Kevin, I'm just going to say this, the argument they'll make is that, oh, we couldn't endanger the lives of these people trying to stop them in these difficult waters. Well, these people made that decision to get in that dinghy themselves and to make that journey on their own. And why is it that the primary duty of our government, which is to protect civil society in the United Kingdom, protect, again, British citizenry, a bit like the way they should be protecting the owner of that boat, why is it that they're prepared to sacrifice British civil society on the altar of the protection of people who are trying to enter our country illegally? Why do we choose to damage ourselves in the pursuit of protecting others? We must become firmer as a country. We've got to enforce our damn borders. We've got to get real.
Absolutely, Ben. Wise words as always. Great to talk to you. Thank you very much. That's Ben Habib, former Deputy Leader of Reform UK, of course, and now leader of the British PAC party.